What is the one thing you do on Friday to start your weekend properly? My wife is a first grade teacher in rough part of the city. So her days can seem like whole weeks based on the wild and funny stories she comes home with. And since I now work from home, I don't have great office stories anymore, aside from the random puking from the nervous Boston Terrier coworker, but that's a different subreddit. So every Friday night we leave our 9 and 12-year-old kids with older brother, who's 16. We go to the same okay-ish Mexican place and pretty much eat the same thing. My wife has a big-ass margarita, while I am happily in the DD. After nearly 21 years together, this moment is when we still talk plans, life, kids, people we find annoying, and tease each other into fits of laughter, especially after that Friday night margarita hits her. That's when making her laugh becomes a sport for me. We pick something up for the kids on the way home, and the night continues in a flurry of 2K and Call of Duty matches with my kids. Trash talking, lots of posturing by my 16-year-old until old man strength kicks in. Friday night is truly what jolts my soul with new energy. On Friday I do favors for future me so that I can actually have a fun weekend. I wrap up my workday writing a checklist for Monday and close all browser tabs so I can check out mentally. I do online grocery shopping so I have the foods. I start the laundry and figure out the house/family plans logistics for the weekend. Sometimes it's a drag when I'm tired, but it helps future me out a lot. Edit, you can scale this down from the week to the day as well. I do dishes at night because future me can wake up to a clean kitchen in the morning. I make my bed in the morning because future me really likes getting into a made-up bed in a clean room when I want to turn off. Alternatively, when current me is too physically or mentally tired to do favors for future me, and I wake up to a sink full of dirty dishes I was too tired to do, then even though it's not my favorite, I look back and say, well, past me had it a bit rough last evening and I needed to rest. Have empathy for yourselves, people. My wife and I do 4A Friday. Or, more accurately, 4A Friday, which stands for Album Awareness and Appreciation. With streaming music services these days, we realize that we never listen to an entire album the way the artist intended. So we decided to sit in the living room or on the deck and do nothing, no screens, no talking, just sit together and enjoy a full album. We say let 4A Friday be your foray into music because we're nerds. Been doing this at least since the pandemic started and have only missed about 5 days. Have heard some great albums that I haven't listened to since I bought them on tape, and heard some pretty great music that I never would have known about otherwise. Tonight is my turn to choose. Depending on our mood, it will either be Johnny Cash Live at Folsom Prison or William Shatner Has Been. Sometimes we go with themes, like today is Revenge of the Fifth, or Netherlands Liberation Day. Black History Month was all black artists, etc. I plan my next week on Fridays, that way I'm cleared to relax all day on Saturday and Sunday, and know I have a good plan for next week. It saves me from Sunday scaries. I write it all down, get it all out, and then fully disengage at the end of the day Friday. I sometimes even do this on Thursday, which gives me a chance to deep dive on my prior week's plans, and perhaps wrangle something I would have otherwise missed onto the schedule for Friday. If I don't plan on Thursday, I do it early Friday. I try to include meals for the next week, a review of my long-term goals, and big events for the coming weeks before I get into my work tasks. Work tasks get listed, or if I'm very proactive, scheduled in blocks. This whole thing maybe takes 90 minutes, but it's certainly a multiplier in terms of making sure my time is reasonably well spent throughout the rest of my week. My husband works night weekends, and at the moment I'm not working as I've been recovering from being sick earlier this year. I typically try to have some kind of special non-alcoholic drink made, usually a juice concoction of some kind, to send with him to work, and a lunch packed if we have anything remotely decent in the house. I drive him to work to give him a few extra minutes of sleep and then a calm drive. Drop him at the door, parking is atrocious, and head home. Spend my night doing what little things I can around the house and text with him if he has any spare minutes. Sometimes he FaceTimes me on his lunch break. Those are my favorite nights. I usually go to bed late and sleep a few hours and go pick him up. He tells me about his night as we go home and sometimes stop for breakfast. He showers and winds down, and I make sure the bedroom AC has been running so it's nice and cool when he comes to bed, and we snuggle up with our dog and sleep all day. It's not a normal weekend by any means, but I love trying to help his work week be a little easier so he can actually decompress and enjoy his days off during the week instead of needing them to recover.